Hey everyone, Coach Lovett here with Primeletics. Today, I'm gonna be talking to you about just the recruitment process. So I'm squashing all the things that you heard about what you need to do and everything. I'm here to tell you what the real way to get recruited is. I know because I've sent dozens of players to college for basketball at least. And this recruitment process, even though today I'm gonna be giving you examples from basketball perspective, they can be used in all sports. So what is recruitment? What is recruiting? So recruiting is when you're trying to get picked up for your individual sport and trying to go to college as a walk-on, and we'll get into that, or via scholarship. So two ways. So what is a scholarship? A scholarship is when you receive full room and board, financial aid, book/tuition coverage. So you go to college for free. That's what a scholarship player. A walk-on is you have the potential to be a scholarship player. Now, the school may not have spots left, or they may not fully be convinced that you're ready yet. So they give you a walk-on spot, which is a spot on the team. So you're a member of the team. You are just not covered. You have to cover that year yourself, whether it's financial aid or whatever, but the program will not be paying for you. So there's different divisions and different levels. So we have the NCAA, which is the National Collegiate Athletic Association, and we have the NAIA, which is the National Athletic of Intercollege Athletics, and then we have the NJCAA, which is the National Junior College Athletic Association. So NAIA, there are two divisions, Division I, Division II. NCAA, there are Division I, Division II, Division III, and then for NJCAA, the junior college level, there's 1, 2, and 3 divisions as well. So for NAIA, these schools are typically a little bit smaller than NCAA schools. So the financial aid and stuff that you will receive will be a little bit smaller. That's just basically the biggest difference. The NCAA, the 3 different divisions. So let's just start backwards. So Division III. So Division III, you might have, at least for basketball, players that are not as athletic and just in between positions and things like that. So they typically go to Division III schools. Division III, they do not cover, they cannot give you any scholarship money for your sport. So all the financial money that you will be getting will be due to academics. So you have to have heavy academics, great grades to go there. We're talking like 3.5 to 4.0 type kids. So very intelligent. Division II kids are pretty good, athletic, more athletic than the Division III kids, kind of true to their position, true to size and what colleges are looking for. But those schools, Division II schools, can give full scholarships to those kids. So those kids are covered, and some schools might even do a partial scholarship, which is, half covered by financial aid, and then they pay half of it. So that's a partial scholarship, but they can do full scholarships. Division I athletes are your top tier kind of athletes. They're athletically gifted, which is one of the intangibles that you can't give to somebody you just athletic or you're not. So these are your top athletes. These are your guys or girls that are bigger than the normal. You might have, in basketball, you might have a 6'5" point guard who could jump out the gym. That's a Division I type of player. You won't find too many 6'5" athletically gifted point guards playing Division III. Those are Division I type of guys. And then there's 2 levels of that. There's mid-major schools and there's high majors. So your high major schools are your Dukes and Kansas and things like that. And then your mid-majors are, MAC schools. We're going by conference now, MAC schools, or, some Patriot League schools, some of the schools in the American Conference, just things like that. But you have your big conferences, Big Ten, ACC, SEC, Pac-12, and things of that nature. So those are the different levels for that. And then you have your junior college. So I got a whole nother video about what is junior college and stuff, and what you can expect from that. But just in a nutshell, right now, junior college is for athletes who aren't yet where they need to be. So whether that be in the classroom, whether that be maturity-wise, or whether that be on their in their sport. So junior college gives them a year or two to get more playing time, more exposure and stuff. Colleges can still recruit, so they can still go into a 4-year university after a year or two. It just gives them more time to grow. It's basically like a in-between phase between high school and college right now. And then, like I said, I got a whole nother video on that, really explaining and getting down into the meat of junior college, because I know junior college has a negative connotation with it. So how to get recruited. There's 3 different areas that I'm gonna touch on. We're gonna touch on, like I said, this right now is just pertaining to basketball. So use this as you can use it for any sport, whether it's football, volleyball, softball, baseball, soccer, what may have you. So the 3 categories we're gonna talk about today: basketball, classroom, and you. And it'll all make sense once we start breaking it down. So first things first, when you're getting recruited by a college coach, the coaches that I've spoken to, when they're talking to me about some of my players, the first thing that they ask about, and everyone thinks, like kids think that it's about the court or, their sport. They already know what you can do. They've seen your highlight tapes and whatnot. The first thing they ask, what kind of person is the kid? If you are a terrible person, like you are disrespectful to other people, people in the community don't like you, teachers don't like you, coaches don't like you, you're probably not going to get recruited. That's just first thing first. They want to know what type of person they're getting. If they're investing their money into you, they want to get the best person possible. So when you're at these schools, these coaches, it's not for fun anymore. They make their living off of the salary that they make playing the sport. So wins and losses determine if they stay or not. So they have to feed their family with that money. So they're not going to invest in a kid that's unruly and won't listen. That's pointless. They can get another kid who may not be as talented, but will listen, and they can bring them up to par just because they're a hard worker. So first things first, you must be a great person. Here, bro, take it. Starting to get wet. So you want to make sure that you also have integrity. Integrity is what you're doing when no one's watching you. So when you're at college, you have a lot of freedom. There's a lot of things that are going on, a lot of fun happening, a lot of parties and stuff, but you're there for 2 things. You're there to complete your degree and move on in life, and then you're there to play your sport. And a third thing too, you're there to build relationships with people, whether they may be on your team or just around the school. So you want to make sure that you have integrity. Start doing that in high school. Start making the right decisions early on, so that way when coaches are recruiting you and people give them recommendations, that people don't hesitate to give you the referral. Like that is so important that kids are missing out on. If you don't have integrity, you're going to miss out on a lot. You got to be able to do the right thing at all times, and not just when people are watching you, because you're going to have a lot of freedom and be out in the community. And once you're out in the community, you represent yourself, you represent the school that you play for, and you represent those coaches. So you got to make sure that you're making a good impression on people around. So now we covered you. Now we want to get into the classroom. Grades, grades, grades. Grades are so important. Kids now are graduating valedictorian, graduating with 4.0s, graduating with 3.8s, and they are awesome at basketball. Maybe 10 years ago, it was, some of the kids with bad grades that were going on to play at the next level and being the best players. But now some of the best players have the highest grades now too. They're putting the work in the academics. You have to make sure that your grades are up to par. Now, if there are things that happen, and everyone is not perfect. So that's why junior college exists. So if you don't have the grades, you can go the junior college route. That is always an option too. Junior college is a safety net, but You don't want to have to rely on that. Sometimes, you know, these coaches that are giving you the best shot, they're giving to you that one time. They're coming to see you that one time, and they want to know that your grades. If you don't have the grades, that recruitment process stops dead in its tracks right then and there, and then they move on to the next person, because they can't do anything with you if you don't have the grades. And if you don't make the grades in high school when it's easy, how are you gonna make the grades in college when it's hard, when you're writing 20-page papers and stuff like that? So you got to make sure of that. You got to make sure that you also attend class. Attending class is so important. You have nothing to do in high school but to attend class, but to play your sport. There's not too many things going on. When you go to college, there's no one that's holding your hand. There's no one making you get up in the morning. You have to be accountable and responsible to be able to go and attend class on your own. Now, coaches do check on that, but they prefer a kid that they don't have to worry about. If your attendance is low in high school, they're not going to bring you in college, because you have to wake up on your own. They might not be to campus at 8 o'clock in the morning, but you might have a 7:45 class. They need to trust that you're going to be up and in class and doing what you're supposed to be doing. So that covers the classroom part. Now let's get to the basketball part, the meat of it. So when they get through all those, when they get through you and they get through the classroom, they're gonna ask, what type of player is this person? That's the first thing they're gonna ask. You have to have an unbelievable work ethic to play college basketball, period. I think the percentages, there's like 7% of athletes that play a college sport, period, and it tiers in each division. There's like 0.01% of people that play Division I and 0.01% that play Division II, and then, you know, like 0.04% of people that play Division III. So if you want to be in that small percentile, you have to do the work. If you think that you did one workout or you just went to practice and that's going to cut it, that's not the work ethic that they're talking about. You need to be getting up before school, trying to get a workout in, whether it's in the weight room or on the basketball court. You need to go to practice and do that, and then you need to be getting a workout in after practice if you can. You know, some days you'll be limited on what you can do because of homework or, you know, responsibilities at home or something, but for the most part, on average, you should at least be doing 1 to 2 workouts. Practice is not a workout. Practice is something that you have to do. These workouts are on your own. How are you going to get better? How are you going to improve in the areas that you're weak at if you're just going to practice and doing it? You need times where you can get repetition after repetition after repetition. That's the only way to get better at something. And you're talking about college, you're talking about the top tier athletes as you climb up each level, but just the top tier athletes around the world, period. You know, that the thing about college is all college athletes that play a sport, they have high IQs in their sport, or they have crazy athleticism. But there's some people that fuse both. And then when you put a work ethic on top of that, it makes an unbelievable player. So you have to have a great work ethic. The other thing that you need to have a highlight tape. Now, this highlight tape that people make on YouTube, and it has a whole bunch of music and stuff like that in the background, that's not it. You need to make a professional highlight tape. Your highlight tape, this is very important. You might need to stop, slow this down, and pause and rewind and stuff. Highlight tape is very important. If you go to a small school or you're in a smaller city and you want to get exposure, your highlight tape says everything about you. That is your resume to that college. So when you're presenting yourself to the coach, you have about 4 to 5 minutes. So the first thing you want to do is you want to capture their attention. So if you could dunk, or you can make it, you have an awesome play that you have, put the first couple seconds as all your top plays that you think will catch somebody's attention. And then you need to layer your tape. So if you got a 4-minute tape, 4 to 5 minute tape, that's it. No shorter, no longer. So, or you could as long as you stay between that 4 or 5 minute range, that's enough. But you need to have 2 sides of it, offense and defense. So you want to break offense down all the way down. So you want to go offense, you want to showcase your shooting ability. You want to showcase your layups. You want to showcase your passing ability. Then you want to, like, if you can dunk, you want to showcase that athleticism, have a couple dunks in there. Then you want to flip over to the other side, or take that back, go back to the offense and show yourself, like, if you can really shoot the ball, show yourself moving without the ball. Show plays that you can move on the court. You have a high IQ. You don't need the ball in your hand at every single moment. Or, you know, if you're getting ready to shoot, you can sink to the level of the ball and you're getting ready to shoot. That's little things that they look for. Like, trust me, the things that people pick up on that normal people don't pick up on, basketball, college coaches, they pick up on that. So they recognize that stuff. So the things that don't hit the stat sheet, like moving without the ball, is so incredibly important. They value that. That shows a high IQ player that they can work with in college. That shows that you have high potential, which is something that, you know, they gauge when they're trying to hand out scholarships to kids. Then you want to go into the defensive end of it. So if you can block, if you have some great blocks, if you're a shot blocker, show that. Show you being able to play the passing lane and steal the ball. Show that you're able to defend the ball and steal the ball. But then also show that you can move your feet just to stop your man. So you can get in front of a man. You can stop him. You can cut him off. You can zigzag and stay in front of him the whole time. You can defend without fouling. You can get there. You know, you might have to play help side, but then you can recover hard and close out hard. Break down. Those are little things that they look for. But all that has to be condensed in that 4 to 5 minute tape. I'm telling you, you gotta grab their attention. So that highlight tape, if you layer it out like that, that shows, okay, this is a complete, well-rounded player. Gotta be coachable. If you're not coachable, if you take everything to heart, it's not gonna work. You're going to get criticized. Criticism is a big part of any sport. If you get criticized, you gotta be able to hang your head high, look your coach in the eye, look your other coaches in the eye, look the senior players, you know, the upperclassmen in the eye when they're trying to explain to you what you're doing wrong. Like, when somebody's explaining what you're doing wrong, it's not a knock on you. You just got to take it, analyze it, and figure it out how to put it in your game like they're telling you to. They want you to get better because they want to be better too. They're not telling you, trying to make fun of you or make you feel bad. They want you to improve, and they see potential in you. That's why they're even talking to you. The next thing, had to be a great teammate. Got to be a great teammate. Got to move the ball. Got to be willing to pass. Got to pick people up when they're down. Got to show that you care. Got to be encouraging people on the court. They're going to look for that. You know, when you're winning a game, that's all great. Coaches see that, and, you know, they know that, you know, you're excited to win and everything is going great, so there's no problems. Now, if you're losing a game, and I tell a lot of kids this, especially kids that I coach, sometimes when you're losing a game and coaches, you know, they come out to watch a game and you end up losing and you're losing by 20 and you're getting pounded, they're going to be watching to see your body language. How are you responding to your coach? Are you still listening? Are you engaging eye contact? Are you being disrespectful? Or are you going out there and playing hard? Then they're going to see, what kind of teammate are you? Teammate takes a bad shot. Are you going to yell at them? Are you going to encourage them and pick them up? Teammate gets scored on. Are you going to encourage them and pick them up, or are you going to yell at them and make them feel bad? Your effort during a losing game, you're losing by 20. Are you still battling until the end of the quarter, end of the fourth quarter, end of the game? Are you still playing every possession just as hard as the first possession, like the game is still in reach? They're going to be checking all of that. That is a complete player. So now we checked out the basketball box. So now, if you want to figure out how to get recruited, you need to go talk to your coaches. You need to talk to your coaches. Your coaches need to know what you're doing, what your goal is. Because, you know, the younger you are, especially if you're a freshman, sophomore playing varsity, you tell a coach what you want to do, they're going to make sure that you're working towards that. They're going to make sure that they're holding you accountable to that, you know? Junior, senior, same thing. They're going to be trying to make sure that you're working towards that, and they're going to be able to help you. You know, your coach might have some connections with some people that have other connections. Sometimes recruiting is just not about getting recruited out the blue. It's about who you know. And there's a lot of people with connections, especially coaches. Some coaches are former players, and they know different people that can get you in front of the right people to get seen, you know? If You don't have help from your coaches. Who do I email? What do I do? You need to go pick out some colleges. The first thing I tell kids, gauge where your game is at, or talk to me about where your game is at, and I'll tell you what division or what level I think you belong on. So once we talk about that, or, you know, if you don't have help, you gotta sit down and gauge yourself. You gotta figure out what type of player you are. Now, the main thing is everybody says that they're a Division I player. You know what? That's great, but are you putting in Division I effort? These are the kids that are working out 2 to 3 times a day, aside from practice. Practice does not count as a workout. And going to play at the YMCA or going to play pickup outside, that's not working out. Working out is you spending an hour on ball handling, spending an hour on your left hand, spending an hour on your right hand, shooting the ball, form shooting. That's working out and getting multiple reps at something, working at your game. So playing does not count. Pickup, practice, none of that counts. 2 to 3 workouts. That's a Division I kid. That's the type of work ethic you need to have at the Division I level. So you need to gauge where you're at, Division I, Division II, Division III. Or, you know, you could even go the junior college route, but you need to figure out where you're at, and you need to look at that. So if you're a Division II kid, Division I kid, Division III kid, you need to find out, all right, Google Division III conferences. Find every conference in the country and start doing your research. Start looking at people that play your position. You know, start trying to test out what kind of systems they run. You know, you can Google and see some of their games if you fit in the system. Start Googling and figuring out their roster. You know, if you're a shooting guard, but you can play point guard, start seeing what their class roster is like. If they have a lot of juniors and seniors, if they have a lot of juniors and seniors, that's great for you. That means that they're going to be recruiting new guys that fill in those roles. So those are the type of schools you want to start emailing to. So now, emailing, who do I email to? So you go, once you find the schools and everything that you want, you look on the school website, you Google the school website, you go to the athletics page, and you go into it. Once you go into the athletics page, you want to email, you want to put on, probably send an email to the head coach, but then you want to make sure that you CC every single assistant that's on there, a videographer if you can, and whoever else. You want to make sure that this is getting in front of as many people as possible. So, head coach, CC, assistant coaches, videographer, you know, director of basketball operations, any managers, whoever email is on that site, send it to them, because one of them on staff will check the email and they will present it to the head coach if they think you're good enough or if they think you fit in the program. So do that. What do I say in the email? Actually, we're gonna have a template on our website and we'll flash that in the description. You go on the website, we'll have a template. You can use that and kind of gear it to what you want to say, and, you know, stick in a link for your highlight tape and stuff like that. And that'll be right in the description. So check that out if you need help, or, you know, if you feel like you just want to see and kind of get a gauge of what to say, you can use that. If you don't want to use that exact word, I'm just trying to give you a guideline of what to use. Hope this video was very informative on how to get recruited. Looking forward to hearing from you guys. If you have any questions or any help, any parents out there that need help, any kids or any coaches, whatever, send us an email. Go onto our website, hit us up however you need to, DM us on social media, whatever, leave a comment if you need help, and we'll reach out to you and get back and make sure you guys get recruited. As always, apply pressure.